forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home to Erev Shabbat. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. And though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי לחזות בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of out of the ruins and the rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, we can see a ray of hope, one pale thin ray reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels.
forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. There's a road that's long and winding, it hollers home. I'm calling home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home to Erev Shabbat. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home.
אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי לחזות בנועם אדוני,
בנועם אדוני,
ולבקר
בחלום,
לחזות בנועם אדוני. To gaze upon the beauty of out of the ruins and the rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, we can see a ray of hope, one pale thin ray reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all. We may
Nice to see you.
I didn't even get to say hi to you this whole time. We're so far apart.
Yeah, it's a mile away.
I know. How are ya?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine.
Nothing going on.
Nothing much.
I like how the two of us are on the west side and the two of them are on the
I didn't even think about that. Wait, that's really cute. I'm gonna text my boyfriend and tell him that.
Of course, I saw some photos. We can meet in the park somewhere.
Are you
So
gonna-
your girlfriend and your boyfriend are working
There's
together
some-
somewhere
there's
else?
On the east side, yeah. In this,
Girlfriend, yeah.
in
They're
the
both
same,
together?
on this, in the same, yeah, in the same synagogue. I'm gonna text Emerson right now.
Wait, let's see.
Should I start? Yeah, should I start a group text with Emerson?
The four of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your husband singing Shabbat somewhere?
No, but he
That would be funny.
did just text me that he panicked when someone said to him, our daycare provider basically fished asking if I would volunteer to sing for something, and he didn't know what to say. He said, not for free.
I'm starting a group text.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Only for family. And karaoke. That's it.
For me, it probably would, but I appreciate his concern for my time.
בבנו התינוקת שנור אלי הטוב על האש המבוערת על המים הזכים על האיש השב הביתה מן המרחקים על כל שמור לי אלי הטוב על הדבש ועל העוקץ על המר והמתוק על נטע כל נטוע אל תשכח את התקווה השיבני ונשובה אל הארץ הטובה שמור לי על זה הבית על הגן ועל חומה מיגון מפחד פצע וממלחמה שמע עד שיש לי על האור ועל הטף על הפרי שלא הבשיל עוד ושנאסף על כל שמור לי אלי הטוב על הדבש ועל העוקץ על המר והמתוק על נטע כל נטוע אל תשכח את התקווה השיבני ונשובה אל הארץ הטובה.
Al kol eleh, for all these things. For all these things do I weep. My eyes flow with tears. Far from me is any comforter who might revive my spirit. My children are forlorn, for the foe has prevailed. I shared these words from the Book of Lamentations yesterday with our community, because in a season of so much heartbreak and so much grief, yesterday we bore witness to a level and expression of inhumanity for which it seems there may be no words, and yet that is not an acceptable response. Because if there cannot be words, and if we cannot speak into the greatest place of darkness, then we have lost our way. I shared a quote that sadly I have come back to again and again over the past year and a half. 50 years ago, Rabbi Yitzhak Greenberg, reflecting on the Shoah and the Holocaust, he posited the following principle: that no statement, no words, theological or otherwise, should be made that would be credible in the presence of burning children. And what of children murdered with bare hands? In children, our universal symbol of innocence, our symbol of possibility, our symbol of humanity, there can be no tolerance, no silence, no justification. And so when we see coffins paraded around of babies with celebration and joy, when we see the unwillingness of so many in our world to even speak out with outcry, to even be willing to weep and shed tears, we see that we have lost more than Kfir and Ariel. We see a world that seems to be losing its humanity. Because if we abandon our ability to grieve children, if we need to put the deaths of babies into context and somehow find a way of moralizing it, then I don't know. What is the soul that we hold that guides us in our way forward? We carry so much into this Shabbat. So many feelings. Bewilderment, betrayal, anger, heartbreak. And yet we are asked to find words. And yet silence and stillness is unacceptable. So how do we make statements that feel worthy in the presence of dead babies? Viktor Frankl said, coming out of Auschwitz, that there was only one freedom that could never be taken from us: the freedom to choose how to respond. So much of his life work after seeing the atrocity of humanity was a refusal to be imprisoned in his past, a refusal to let the shadow take over his own soul. For if anyone had the justification for rage, for vengeance, it was him. But Frankl chose a different way. In his words, he refused victimhood, refused to let the past and the pain imprison him. He believed that the only freedom that can ever be taken is how we choose to step outside of that path of prison. In our Torah portion this week, we read one of the most famous and repeated lines in our tradition. You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. We, all of us, irrespective of our backgrounds, irrespective of the pain that we wield, we are obligated not to perpetuate pain, but to maximize freedom. We're asked to bear witness to the suffering, to the immeasurable heartbreak of this moment and of every moment of our ancestry and our past. But it isn't to create the identity of victimhood. It isn't to imprison ourselves in a past we cannot change. It's to activate us, to say to us, this space is big enough to hold all the rage, to hold all the tears, all the betrayal, all the pain. But ask of us the question, what will we do with it? Because there's a very important lesson here, and I fear one that perhaps much of American Judaism is forgetting. Especially for those of us who grew up with the moniker of Tikkun Olam, that our call of responsibility is to repair the world. From the very beginning of our people all the way to today, our vision, our ultimate purpose has always been universal. But our particularism, our Jewish story, our Jewish suffering, and our Jewish refusal to be imprisoned by our pain is actually what animates us. You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. We're commanded to zachor, to remember, al tishkach, to not forget, to remember every moment of atrocity, to never forget every moment of abandonment, not to be imprisoned in victimhood, not to justify the perpetuation of that prison, but to allow it to activate us, to animate us. We're commanded to center our story, not to turn our backs on the world, but instead to allow us to open our hearts to it. And that perhaps is the great task of tonight. Whatever is the path that you bring into this space, whatever the feelings that you hold, let them come forward. And the hope is that in this service, in this community, in this space, whether you are here in person or tuning in from around the world, that we can do as our ancestors have done, as Viktor Frankl has urged us to do, to not let ourselves be imprisoned, to allow this to be the very call that activates us. And so we are grateful that on this Shabbat, as we continue an annual tradition of marking Refugee Shabbat because of that verse I quoted, we are doing it differently this year. So often we have taken this Shabbat to reflect on the past journeys of Jewish refugees and to think of the refugees that exist out in the world. And that universal call will forever be our ultimate vision. But I worry that we forget the other piece of our equation, that we have to center our story. We have to name our pain. We have to hold our history. Because it is from that that those feelings urge us to make a different choice, urge us to feel compelled to that obligation. And so tonight, we'll be honored later in our service to invite a person I now call my teacher and friend, Daniel Gradis, co-founder of Project 24. As many of you know, earlier this year, we filled the sanctuary with almost 1,000 people, as Daniel and his team chose in the midst, after October 7th, of so much fracture here in America, and so much pain and heartbreak and displacement in Israel, to weave heart to heart, home to home, community to community, and not only helped unite the New York Jewish community together, but created this strengthening bridge between our home and the homes devastated in Israel. And we're grateful that his voice will speak into the heart of Refugee Shabbat and be some of the voice that holds our own pain, our own feelings, and activates us this Shabbat. As Cantor Dillo and I were thinking about how we need to begin this service, we had to acknowledge Al Kol Elah. How do we hold the bitterness alongside the blessing? How do we name the atrocity, but also feel the compulsion, the commandment of this Shabbat, to center gratitude? And so before we come to the lights of Shabbat and think of the light that we could create, that we must create right now, we have to memorialize. We have to light a light that names so much that has been lost. And it is more than Oded, and it is more than Kfir, and more than Ariel. But in them, in the desecration of peace activists and the most innocent symbols of humanity, we have lost something profound. We have seen a brutality and a barbarism that must be named, that must be grieved, before we can open ourselves to anything else. I invite the community to please rise. We have always seen light as our greatest of technologies in the midst of grief. From the beginning of a divine being willing to create light out of darkness, we remember our loved ones by kindling a flame, by letting the symbol of that spark remind us of that which might outlast this moment, of that which might guide us beyond this moment. And for all that we all hold into this space, may this light of memory remind us of our past, to center atrocity and pain, but also remind us that the point of this is not to look backwards, but for that past to invite us to lift our eyes and look forwards. What calls to us? what we bring into this next moment, this next hour, this next day. How do we carry that light in a way that illumines the world? Let the community please be seated. And so we hold gratitude that we can hold each other this Shabbat, that we can open our hearts to all the feelings we carry, al kol elah, and in all that we lament and grieve, to feel that we have a purpose that must come out of it. And that is part of the gift of being in a community, where we get to see that sometimes the most potent of wisdoms comes not from those of us with notches on our belts, but sometimes from those who are just beginning their journey. To see that in our children, our symbol of innocence also is our symbol of hope and purpose. And we feel very grateful, Jack, that on this Shabbat where we hold so many things, that you are rising to be our leader and our teacher. And for all the ways we grieve that you stepped forward to be a leader and teacher in such a difficult world, thank you for the courage of your heart, the joy of your spirit. And I could not imagine a better person to be bringing his light to help illumine this space and bring us into this Shabbat. It is an honor to bring forward Jack Davidson Friedman to kindle the lights of Shabbat. So as we move into our service, we're going to invite you to take all those feelings and to bring them out. Sing it out. Sing out the anger, sing out the pain, sing out the hope, sing out whatever you need to be doing. And we are going to, hopefully, with the tapestry, the strength of community, be able to at least remind ourselves that we are not alone, that we carry the strength of past generations that refused to be imprisoned, refused to be silenced. And so let the voice of our community be the voice that the world hears as we go into the Shabbat. We begin L'Chadodi, page 20.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala,
rise as you're able in turn to welcome in Shabbat.
Goiv shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha utzolam. Tochem unei am segula, boi chala lecha dodi, likrat chala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat chala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing and continue on page 28 with our call to prayer. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai We remain standing now for Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shekivot Malchuto Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'yot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 40.
Mi breath is safer than breathing, when letting go is braver than keeping, when innocent words turn to lies, and you can't hide by closing your eyes.
When pain is all that they offer, like a kiss from the lips of a monster, you know the famine so well, but never met the feast, when home is the belly of the beast.
The ocean is wide and wide, and the boat beneath you is sinking. Don't need room for your bags, hope is all that you have.
So say the Lord's Prayer twice, hold your babies tight.
Surely someone will reach out a hand and show you a safe place to land.
Oh, imagine yourself in a building, up in flames, being told to stand still.
This window's wide open and this leap is on faith. You don't know what'll catch you, maybe somebody will. The ocean is wide and over your head, and the boat beneath you is sinking. Don't need room for your bags, hope is all that you have.
So say the Lord's Prayer twice, hold your babies tight.
Surely someone will reach out a hand and show you a safe place to land. Be the hand of a hopeful stranger, little scared but you're strong enough. Be the light in the dark of this danger, till the sun comes up. Be the hand of a hopeful stranger, a little scared but you're strong enough.
Oh, be the
Light in the dark of this danger, till the sun comes up. Be the hand of a hopeful stranger, a little scared but you're strong enough. Be the light in the dark of this danger, till the sun comes up. 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 Till the sun comes up.
So we bring into our prayers in this moment, give all those who struggle, and whether they be very near to us or far across the oceans, we bring them into our prayers in hopes not only for God's help in the pathway to healing and restoration, but inviting us to be the ones that may hold them. We keep in our communal prayers of healing tonight Ellen Kirshner, Tracy Lustig, Cassie Lustig, Patricia Horn, Stephen Schwinder, Mark Miller, Debbie Plotz-Pierce, Judy Garber, Elaine Herrick, Stanley Reifer, Ricky Dessen, Francine Lahat, Ari Ginor, Judy Halpern, Al Emmerman, Leslie Gordeski, Joseph Stiglitz, Elizabeth Wright, Alexander Lola, Eileen Menace, Moshe Abraham Ben Miriam Shmuel, Julie Dictero, Edward Lewitt, Ken Zuckerman, Rosalind Epstein, Griffin Myers, and Sharon Rollins. If there are others you'd like to include in Misha Barak or prayer for healing, we invite you to raise your hand and offer the names as we go around the room. Zichron, we wish them all for Shlema, complete and speedy healing. As we continue now with Misha Berach on page 253. The community to please rise as you're able. The poem's Prayer by Alden Salavi. The poem, aware of itself, knows that there are no words to ease this moment of suffering. The poem surrenders to tears, surrenders to anger, surrenders to a silent scream. The poem, aware of itself, prays for the heartbreak to end, closing its swollen red eyes, to say in a whisper, "Rest in peace, little ones. Rest in peace, my dears."
Israel,
46.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'konei Yaakov, v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo b'yahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Yezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rav le'oshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechokel chaim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar, Mi chamocha b'gevurot, u'midom elach, Melech mevit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh shemcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalalu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
We remain standing as we continue with our prayer for the state of Israel. We wanted for our words to be the same words that are echoed by our brethren in Israel. And this is the prayer for the state of Israel of the Israeli Reform Movement's Siddur. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo barechna et medinat Yisrael reshit tzmichat ge'ulatenu. We'll read together. Rock and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the dawning of our redemption. Shield it with your compassion and spread over it the shelter of your peace. May a spark of your spirit inspire the actions of its elected leaders and officials, judges and advisors, that they may follow the path of justice, liberty, and righteousness. Strengthen the spirit and the hands of those who build and protect our Holy Land, and grant salvation and life. Bring peace to this land and everlasting joy to its inhabitants. Be with the people of Israel wherever they are. Plant within their hearts the love of Zion. And may those of our people who are so inspired come to Jerusalem, your city, which bears your name. Spread your spirit over all the inhabitants of our land. Uproot hatred and animosity, jealousy and evil. Plant in our hearts love and kinship, peace and friendship, and let us say together, Amen. Everyone may be seated. We continue now, page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki ata melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We take a moment now for silent prayer and reflection.
Once was a little girl who dreamed of being a writer. She lived in a country with an evil king who burned people who prayed like her. Her family tried to flee it, to keep their kid alive, and was raised a refugee. Just her diary survived. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses on your teeming shore, yearning to breathe free. Send them all to me. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses on your teeming shore. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Remember what I stand here for. There once was a young man who dreamed of earning his degree. He lived in a country with an evil king who bombed his family. He flew to reach our border to start his life anew. He was detained that day at JFK. We did not let him through. Oh, let him come through. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses on your teeming shore, yearning to breathe free. Send them all to me. Welcome all Muslims, Christians, Jews, and more. Every child fleeing hate and war. I lift my lamp beside the golden door, and I'll forever lift my lamp beside the golden door. I lift my lamp beside the golden
Last year, I had the honor to sit in my study with a person that, as I mentioned, I now consider my teacher and my friend. With gratitude to our fellow member, Marcelo Messer, I was connected to Daniel and was told that in the moments after October 7th, as so many communities were decimated, as so many homes obliterated, so many hearts shattered, out of the wound, out of the pain, out of the anger, out of the desperation, there were those individuals courageous enough to imagine, how do we take that energy and move it in a way that weaves the world together? And so Daniel, along with his beloved friend Boo Boo, they founded Project 24, intended to help weave together across the ocean the American Jewish community and the Israeli community, to take out of fear and out of pain the capacity to build relationship, and to imagine that there might be a mutual healing, mutual inspiration, and maybe in its ideal form, mutual building that could take place. With gratitude to Daniel's leadership, we had many in our community, some of whom are here tonight, who opened their homes to Israeli families, people they had never met before. We were paired with Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak, and I'm grateful that out of that week of living together, families became families. New guests were woven in. And in just a week, I'll be joined by several in our community as we represent Roda Shalom on a mission to Israel. We'll be going back to Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak, and we will continue that relationship that was all sparked by you, Daniel. And as we think about this Shabbat and the many feelings we hold in this space, I want to offer gratitude to you, Daniel. At a time where so many of us feel so bleak, so many of us feel so incapacitated, thank you for modeling for us exactly as we are commanded in our Torah portion. How do we remember our own atrocities, our own suffering? How do we turn that into the obligation to build, to do, and to weave? It is an honor, Daniel, to invite you to our bima to be our teacher on this Shabbat.
feel like home. I've been here before. Yes. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you, Rabbi Ben. Thank you, Kantoshina. I've been here before, just a few months ago, when it was packed with 450 Israelis from the kibbutzim and moshavim in the south that we brought, and I'll speak about this in a moment. Before that, my angle about refugees. As you know, us as Jews, and it was in all the songs, we know the history of being refugees, and a bad history of being refugees. There's a story that after World War II, a lot of men got killed in the war, and many countries were missing working men. There was a camp after the war in the north part of Austria, where there were 750 men that wanted to go to different countries and work. 250 of them were Poland people that were supporting the Nazis and could not go back to Poland. 250 of them were people that worked for the Nazis and couldn't go back to Germany. 250 of them were Jews that just had no home. The whole world came to take people. Canada came, Europe came, Mexico came. They took 500 people. No one took the Jews. No one wanted them in their country. They put them on boats and sent them to Israel. In Israel, we had an event that, by all definitions, checks all the boxes of being refugees. People from the south and from the north that lost everything. Their homes, their communities, their schools got bombed. In the north, people not speaking about it. The whole cities have been ruined. And they had to move to different places. Take a bag and move. And like I said, that's the definition of refugees. I went to visit one of these communities in the center of Israel that hosted refugees that came from the north. And I learned a lesson. When I saw them preparing, they just received the refugees coming from the north. I saw 3 people working and I asked them what they're doing. And the woman said, my job is to find books and toys that are exactly the books and toys they had in the north. To make sure they feel at home. The older lady said, I'm a grandmother to borrow. I go, I spoil the kids for 2 hours so the parents can rest. The last one said, I'm in charge of the refrigerators. I asked him, are you in charge that they work? No, he said, I'm in charge that they're full all of the time. The lesson I learned, that we cannot be refugees in Israel anymore. We will not let that happen. My experience with these refugees is when I went to start visiting them and see how I can help, is that I picked up my head and I started reading the news and I saw what's starting to happen to you. Like Rabbi Ben before, the silence around the anti-Semitism, the silence around the way people treated what happened and started to blaming you for what happened in Israel was ridiculous. And I understood that if we don't have everybody around us, we have each other. And we have to work together. And by founding Project 24, I decided we can do everything we can to put our communities together to work together. We did many projects during the last year and a half, and 3 of them I want to mention. One of them is a project that happened in May. I was presented by a basketball team that we want to take them on a delegation here to New York. When I saw the list of names, one of them was Noam Or. Noam Or was 16 years old at the time. On the morning of the attack in Kibbutz Be'eri, his mother Yonat told him and his sister to jump out of the back window of the safe room when the terrorists came into the house. They climbed, they jumped out of the window. She was supposed to do it too. She didn't make it on time. She was murdered in the safe room. After 40 minutes in the bushes, hiding, the Hamas found him. They put Alma in the car and Noam in the trunk, and they took them to Gaza. They were there for 51 days. They were not allowed to talk to each other, and after 10 days they separated them. After 14 days they brought her back, but they were not allowed to talk to each other, to even share. They just sat in the same room together. After 51 days they came back, and the first news they got is that the mother was murdered and that the father was taken captive. We were preparing to take Noam to New York, and after 10 days before we took him, we got the terrible news that the father was murdered too. I went down south to meet Noam. I saw a kid that lost around 30 pounds in captive, looking me in the eye and say, I want to be with my friends, I want to go. 10 days later, he went on a plane with 18 of his best friends on a basketball trip in Long Island, hosted by the Jewish community, and touched by 600 Jews that surrounded them in every game they went to play, in every restaurant they went to, with a healing process that helped both the kids and both the community that hosted them. That was one of many delegations we did. The delegation that I want to speak about is the one Rabbi Ben mentioned, and I said here in a few words. I was walking these streets of Manhattan with my son, which is 12 years old, and in the discussion that we had about how people left the safe room to defend their communities that morning, he held my hand and he told me, "Dad, I would never let you leave the safe room." That really struck me, that we're looking at the heroes that left the room, but what about the people that stayed in the room? What about the kids that saw their fathers leave the safe room? How did it affect them? And we decided to do a project for the kids to understand how important what their fathers did. And we called the project Thanks for Giving. And Nir Yitzchak were here. But besides Nir Yitzchak that were here, another 33 kibbutzim and moshavim left Israel at the same night. 11 airplanes, 721 people, 196 families were matched to 196 families in New York and Florida that hosted them for a week. Around 10,000 Jews involved in this project that started in November, but will never end because of connections and the friendships that were created in this project will last forever between the kids that hosted the kids and the families that hosted the families. The last project I want to tell you is to leave you with some hope. In Hebrew, in funerals, we say, "B'motam tzivu lanu et hachaim." Motam is death, chaim is life. Tzivu is a bit tricky. Tzivu is from tzava, it's a will. So like when they died, they inherited us the right to live. I always took it like that. But lately I learned something new. Tzivu is also from tzava. Tzivu is also from tzivui. It's a command. It's an order. When they died, they commanded us to live. That means we need to smile, we need to dance, we need to hug. And for that, symbolically, we created a beautiful project. We call it It's a Date. We set up a website, it's-date.com, that you can go to and buy wines. Israeli wines that we want you to buy. They will come to your home, and we want you to drink wine, enjoy with your friend, your wife. We take the profits that we make from selling these wines, and we create vouchers for soldiers that came back from Gaza or Lebanon to go to dinner. So every 3 bottles of wine you buy, you send an Israeli well-deserved soldier to dinner. By doing that thing here, you're sending someone to celebrate over there. Because if we don't laugh, they got to us too. And we can't allow that to happen. So in times like this, it's okay to cry, or we must laugh, and we must hug each other. And we must pick up our head to our neighbor, make sure that everybody in the community is okay. And if we stick together, I'm full of hope that we can get over this. It will take time, but we will. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
For anyone wanting to learn more about Project 24 and the many ideas that Daniel has in his head for the future of our world, please find him after the service. And if you can't find him, let me know and I'll connect you. This time, it is an honor to invite the community to please rise as we're able for Aleinu, page 282 at the bottom of the page.
שלא שם חלקנו כהם
to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. We bring name into this space. Name to point to life. Name to point to legacy. Name to give us responsibility. If you hear the name of a loved one, or if you offer the name of a loved one you're remembering this evening, we invite you to rise and remain standing in honor of that lasting connection. And of course, for those who wish, you may come to the front as well and to place stone onto slate for that permanent sense of lasting legacy. We begin with the recent losses of Gilda Ellis, Dr. George Reservitz, Arnold Menace, Joe Elbaum, Frederick Keeman, Phyllis Sherman, Roberta Perlson, Walter Robinson, Susan Gerson, Rabbi Micah Ellenson, Rolly Cabrizi, Leonard Shore, Oded Lifshitz, Ariel Bibas, Kfir Bibas. If there are others in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning, we invite you to rise and offer the names. Bless. Those in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. Those within Shana, within the first year of mourning. Thank you. Thank you. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of death. Martha Adler, Marvin Ames, Lucy Backrack, Bernice Barron, Lyndon Bada, Jack Baum, Samuel Bernstein, Sam Bernstein, Rachel Blank, Gilbert Block, Eva Blotnick, Simon Blumauer, Florence Blumenthal, Philip Bodner, Rhoda Brandt, Jean Braslow, Samuel Kane, Samuel Cohen, Joan Condell, Chuck Conine, Sidney Cooper, Milton Cooper, Ann Dichter, Bessie Drapkin, Harry Drapkin, Muriel Drexler, Jacob Drogan, Marietta Dugat, David Edelstein, Harold Ellis, Gladys Epstein, Cantor Stephen Feld, Diana Finkelstein, Stanley Fisher, Owen Fleischman, Stanley Fleischer, Stephanie Fogel, George Forbes, Jacqueline Foster, Harriet Friedman, Samuel Friedman, Ruth Garfinkel, Eileen Gary, Max Gelfond, Edward Gittleman, Hertha Goldberg, Rose Goldberg, Seymour Goldfeld, Sylvia Goldstein, Charles Goodman, Caroline Gordon, Dr. Alan Gordon, Ruth Herschel, Bernard Josephson, Martin Kabak, Ruth Kahn, Pearl Kane, Rena Keene, Lois Kempner, Russell Kirschenbaum, Helen Kopolov, Florence Queskin, Lenny Lebo, Sarah Letterman, Gertrude Leisman, Molly Lesh, Harold Levine, Florence Levy, Saul Levy, Florence Levy, Mamie Levy, Harvey Lewin, Dr. Robert Louis, Louis Liebman, Martha Lind, Erwin Lipkin, Gabrielle Lobel, Sidel Lustig, Frederick Mann, Donald Mayer, Miriam Miller, Aaron Milstein, Cecilia Merkina, Julius Moss, Herbert Odenheimer, Paul Perelson, Bonnie Restaflarer, Sidney Retkin, David Riskin, Erwin Robinson, Carl Rosen, Abraham Rosen, Nat Rosenblatt, Harold Rosenthal, Marion Ross, Evelyn Rossoff, Annie Rothman, Teresa Rothschild, Gussie Rubin, Gerald Sackmary, Harriet Sachs, Harriet Saffler, Harold Saffler, Ruth Samet, Helen Scherer, Jonas Scheuer, Nathan Schoen, Miriam Shops, Carol Schragus, Richard Schwartz, Rita Scotti, Henrietta Cerf, Stephen Shepard, Rose Schlossberg, Edward Sperling, Marion Steinberg, Arlene Steinberg, Dr. Gerald Stober, Bertha Townsend, Lillian Traum, Edmund Uri, Henry Utz, Ben Veely, Joseph Weidenfeld, Minnie Wankowski, Grace Weisbrot, Zelda Wilmoff, Brett Zickerman, and Israel Zevin. If there are others you are remembering, we invite you to rise and offer the names. Thank you. Thank you, Elisa. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. As our custom at Road Shalom, we invite you to rise as we're able as one community to stand in care and solidarity together. We offer these words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'yama divrach chirutei v'yamlich machutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach leolam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shmed kudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim. Aleinu v'yar kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yar kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yar kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn here and comfort to all who are bereaved everywhere as we say together, Amen. We may be seated. Just a few brief announcements. Want to make sure that we begin with offering gratitude to those who helped hold us and inspire us through many feelings tonight. It is an honor to offer many thanks to J. David, to Shane, to Daniel, to Olivia, to Karen, to Joseph, and to Rafi. Thank you for your voices, for your music, for helping to weave us together on a Shabbat when we desperately needed it. Gratitude to Roberta Moser and Carolyn Singer for helping to greet everyone at the door, to Ford, making sure that everyone could, beyond these walls, be a part of this and woven in with us. We want to make sure that everyone knows that next Friday, during our services, we'll be having an important speaker. Our congregant, Jane Distel, former trustee, is going to be reflecting on her journey as a caregiver to her beloved husband, Steve, through the experience of Alzheimer's. As we think about Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory loss, and the continued stigma that keeps so many hidden in the shadows and so many remaining silent, Jane is going to courageously lift up some of her own pain, but also offer us many of the concrete tools that can help us in our own journeys. And because of Jane, we have sparked a new partnership with an organization called Caring Kind, and look forward to expanding the kinds of supports we as a community can offer with gratitude to their expertise and wisdom. So please join us next Friday night. And then come back, because the next day we are going to be welcoming back our former rabbinic intern, now Rabbi Vanessa Harper. She's going to be joining us for our Resoul service at 9:30 a.m., and she's going to be leading two programs inspired by her new book, Loaves of Torah. At 11 a.m., she's going to explore the symbolism of challah at a Shabbat brunch and learn, and then at 1 p.m., you can shape your own edible Torah in a hands-on challah making session. You can visit our website to register. And we do want to also make sure that everyone knows that as many of us feel like we are seeing the greatest specter of inhumanity and evil, we are coming close to a holiday that asks of us to make a mockery of it, to boo it, to be able to dress up as it, and to lift up heroism in all its forms. So we invite you to join us on March 13th, beginning at 4:30 p.m. is this Purim 2025 Night at the Museum. Step into a magical evening where I won't tell you all these special experiences, but I promise you want to be a part of it. We also want to make sure to give you a preview that our rocking Purim spiel will be Shushan Rhapsody, just to give you a heads up about what to expect, based on the music of Queen. So hope that will, at least if nothing else, give you a reason to laugh. I also want to make sure that before we continue, next Friday night I will be inviting many of our delegation that will be going to Israel. Some will already be in Israel, but those who have not yet, will be inviting them to come up and join me for a blessing. At this time, it is also an honor to get to invite up to the Bima our own Zachary Haber. So Zachary is about to depart with his family to Poland, from which he will then be joining his entire grade at the Lafel School, living in Israel for a month. And Mr. Haber, we wanted to make sure that we could leave you with a little bit of blessing and a little bit of hope. So in a place that we have had a chance to call a shared home together, and in a moment when the connection between this community and Israel, in both pain and in hope, is made all the more important, we're grateful for all of the learning that you've done, not only within our Rodeh Shalom school, but also at Lafel, and the way that you will be representing our community as you dive deeply into not only learning about the land and the people, but living there. And we hope that you will come back and share your words of wisdom, your reflections, even as we know you're going to be pouring so much of the best of this community out to the people that need it desperately. Sadly, I think the timing of when you're there and I'm there, we may intersect, but I was hoping it would be a better intersection, but I think it's not going to quite work, but maybe I'll find a way to pounce on you with the grade. But I want to offer gratitude to you for being willing to come here so that we could send you off with our love, our excitement, our blessing, and our hope, my friend. And so I want to invite your whole family to join us up here. And want to invite Jack, there you are, my friend. I want to invite you and your entire family, so all of the Davidson Friedmans who are here, to join us up here. And I want to invite the community to please rise as you're able as we continue with Kiddush on page 5.
Oh, what a beautiful challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We ask for peace, peace here in our community, peace in Israel, and peace around the world. Oh, say shalom, bimroba.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Am Yisrael Chai.